Every person on earth has a solution to someone's problem. You have the solution to someone's problem. The gift that Sky has given you may not be needed to everyone, but it's certainly necessary for someone who needs it. Your gift is your smile. Your laugh is your power. This is healing. Dear listeners, welcome to Life in Healthy Conversation episode. Today our podcast guest will be a professional in her field and simply a beautiful and charming woman whose smile is already healing. Baiba, do you think smiling and positive emotions can really heal?
Yes, I'm sure about it, and I really believe that smiling can help to live a better life.
Thank you. Can you bring us back to that point when you have decided to become a patient advocate? What you were doing before that?
I was a market researcher. I was working for international companies, and I was one of the youngest graduates from Riga Business School, so I was all my future was in front of me. But then one day the community of people with bleeding disorders elected me as the president, and I was standing outside that day after this event. It was raining, it was late November, it was very cold outside, and I just realized that I am now in charge for all these people, and I have to make decisions to make their lives better to the best I can.
Wow, that's really impressive. I know that you were diagnosed with von Willebrand disease. Can you bring us to that point when it happened, and please describe your emotions, which exactly you felt at that point?
There are two major episodes in my life to describe that. One was when I was 7, because together with my sister and brother, we were all three diagnosed back then, and it was just a label, von Willebrand disease. But then when I realized that it's much more than just a diagnosis, I started my journey towards precise diagnosis, because the treatment depends on the precise type of the disease. And that was just a few years ago. I was already 39 years old when I found out precise diagnosis, and it was very relieving.
Can you explain to our listeners what is the von Willebrand disease, what it is about?
Probably you have heard about hemophilia, and von Willebrand disease is very similar to that one. It means that my body is not producing protein that is needed for clotting process. So it means that every time when I have a cut or some, I don't know, whatever other situations, my blood runs longer than for other people. For example, if I shave my legs, it's they are bleeding for 40 minutes, and it's
Wow.
not normal. So I must avoid all the situations in my life that not avoid, but to be prepared for everything that involves surgery or any other things that could influence the bleeding.
That might be really challenging in your daily routine, right?
It is pretty depressing when you have to control and take care of everything, yes.
All right. You mentioned that just a couple of years ago you got the precise diagnosis. Can we clarify how many years it took for you? How many years of this diagnostic journey took you to get to this diagnosis?
Then you will know I'm not that young anymore. But it's like for people with rare diseases, it's always that it's pretty challenging. And for women with bleeding disorders, it's usually around 8 to 15 years. And in my case, from just a diagnosis to precise diagnosis, it was more than 30 years.
30 years. That's really impressive. And do you think it's a problem of healthcare system in general, or it's a problem of technologies which are not so precise, or it's a problem of availability?
I think the major problem was lack of information, because it's only I went to first time I went to World Congress of Hemophilia, it was 2004, and then we were asking questions like, what about von Willebrand disease, what about women? And it took nearly 20 years to change this mindset that women with bleeding disorders are now in the focus of attention for many doctors and scientists, and the same for von Willebrand disease. In Latvia, I couldn't get precise type diagnosed because it was pretty expensive. I had to convince the doctors, and I was working very hard to change the policy of rare diseases and healthcare in the country together. So I would personally also have this possibility to do all the tests here.
Baiba, can we ask your suggestions based on your experience managing von Willebrand disease as a chronic condition to other listeners who might have also chronic conditions in their daily routines? Maybe you can give some valuable advice also to them.
There are many suggestions that people with chronic diseases should do. First of all, I always encourage everyone to read as much as they can about this disease, and always check if this information is reliable, because you can find whatever information on Google and it's not always relevant or precise. But and nobody is trained to read scientific articles, so you must find at least some place where you can find reliable information. Then it's also about tracking your symptoms, because for us it's very important that every time when we go to the doctor we can explain what has happened during past 3 months or past year. So it's very important to write down all the symptoms, and I know that there are lots of various technologies to assist with that. And also, of course, use all medicines as the doctor has prescribed, because their role as a healthcare provider is to find the best treatment for you, and then during the shared decision process you can discuss what works for you and what doesn't. So you always have to be prepared to talk to the doctors and other healthcare professionals, and always follow their advice.
So it requires quite huge involvement from patient side itself.
Of course, because it doesn't happen in isolation. It's always a conversation, and now so now we are past the situation when the patient was the ill body in the bed and the doctor came and said what they have to do. Now it's more equal conversation, that the patient and the doctor are trying to find together the solutions for the health problem that the patient is facing.
Baiba, tell me please, did you want to become a doctor in your childhood?
Right, it's very funny, because I really wanted to be a doctor, but then I spent all my high school doing biology and chemistry in a more specific way than other subjects, and I even wanted to go, I graduated from medical school, which is Riga Stradiņš University, but okay. I happened to be in a class of sociology, because that was something fresh and new in our country, and I felt that that's something more relevant to me than becoming a doctor. I didn't want to spend time in emergency care and wake up early in the morning. So yeah, but I'm not very far away from that, right? Exactly,
you are back to the system. And it was a conscious decision you to become a patient advocate and work towards problems in patient and doctor relationships?
No, it was never a conscious choice. I was always with patient community, because my family was very close to it from the beginnings, but I never thought I would do anything so important there. I was dreaming about absolutely other things, and I had this image of non-profit organizations as fancy charity things where you just rich people gather and they donate money to do fantastic work, and I never thought that it involves so much work and so much actually struggle in a way to get things done.
All right. And can you tell to our listeners maybe more about who are those patient organizations? Why do we need them?
In democratic world, it's very normal that civic society is organizing themselves in groups. So patient organizations are these very people who have some kind of disease, or their parents or other caregivers who are uniting, and then they have their own this agenda, and that is what is different. Like in healthcare system, healthcare as in such, there are many non-profit organizations. Even doctors' associations are non-profit organizations, but this distinction that in patient organizations we have patients as community and also as the leaders of these communities, it's very like that's the most specific thing about patient organizations.
Baiba, I know that advocacy involves hearing many difficult patient stories. Maybe you can tell us about some stories which touched you most in most deeper way.
All of them are very sad stories. I have friends around the world who suffer from the same problems as I do, and I remember when I started being in charge for Hemophilia Society in our country, I received a lot of emails from moms whose children had been diagnosed with hemophilia, and back then I had no, as a person I realized the amount of pain they are going through every day, and I was crying almost at every email because it was very touchy, and it took a huge effort to understand how to make this suffering into solutions, because when I go to the ministry, all of the stories and all of the arguments I have, they are backed by the stories of real people. It's not that I invented something or read on the news. It's always somebody who has shared the story of their life, and then I feel extremely responsible for these people to make some changes. And it's very painful when it doesn't happen, very quickly, because some of the things that I have done, it's like I started talking about it 10 years ago probably, and it still is somewhere in the air. The community is not ready to take it, and that's a little bit frustrating, but but I have to do it because I know that reminding people about things, someday it will happen. So I really believe that even all the bad stories, if they are bad at this moment, the solution will come. We just have to be patient.
All right. So it sounds really noble mission from your side, which are you performing. And what can you tell to a healthy person who doesn't have any kind of condition or symptoms or diseases? What can you tell? What's most important to think about at that point? Because I feel that you went through a lot of pain, you heard a lot of pain, you communicating to a lot of people about this pain, and some of them, they understand what you're talking about, but some of them, of course, they don't understand, most probably because they didn't experience this. And what can you tell to the person who doesn't have any kind of condition or disease? What's important in that point of his life?
I sometimes think that people don't value the health they have, and some of us are trying to ruin it in different ways, and we don't appreciate the gift of being at good health. And for other people, it is really I can't know everyone. I can't know all the diseases people are living with. I know mine, which is it is even different among all my family members, although we have the same disease. But for healthy people, I would say always keep your heart open, because you don't know what struggles other people went through to be the person they are. So always appreciate everyone you have around, and just be nice to people.
Baiba, let's talk about patients. You know them more than we. How we patients approaching the same problem?
It's the same as in the society. There are different kinds of people, and you have to find the ways how to work together, because not every doctor is the same and not every patient is the same, and they have to find a match. But I would say there are few types of patients. I have read on the news that there are very aggressive patients, and I kind of understand them, because when they are in a very painful situation, Of course, the first thing, if they are like all their life they have reacted in very aggressive way, they would do the same to doctors. And but I think it's not the right way, of course. Then there are some people who, in very difficult situations, they just shut down. They say they are trying to hide from the problem. They are like kind of ignoring that they have a condition like that. And then there are like good patients, the ones that are going to the doctor, who are adherence is the word, when they are using the therapies as the doctor has prescribed. They ask questions, they are always prepared, and I think these are the best patients because the doctors love them, and for patients it's very easy because if you follow the guidelines the doctor has prescribed, then you would have the solution for your problem much faster. And then there are some patients who are again like overreacting. I would say I'm a little bit a patient who is a little bit overreacting because I'm always like trying to read all the stuff, and then I come with very complex questions, and maybe sometimes I am exaggerating. I understand that I'm trying to change, and I would expect the same from the doctors as well. Imagine you are coming to a doctor, like in my case, with a rare condition which has few people in the country. Of course, none of the doctors know what it is exactly, but I absolutely hate when the doctor sits in the appointment and tries to scroll on the Google what my condition is, although they could ask me and I could explain them. Then they come up with suggestions that they should in my opinion, they shouldn't do that. For example, I remember once a doctor was telling me I should do some vitamins or something like that, and I was like, this is not in the guidelines, the official guidelines for my disease, and that's not your area of expertise, and you shouldn't like try to solve all the problems. And then again, there are some doctors who say that because I'm a doctor, I know better, and that's again like the wrong direction, because I think that for a good doctor, it's very important that they are able to say that they don't know something, so that they just tell you that at the moment they don't have a solution, but they will check for it. And I think this honesty is the most important thing on both sides, from the patient side and also from the doctor's side.
Baiba, thank you very much for this brief description of ideal relationships between patient and doctor, and you highlighted very right points. So patients should really understand the area of expertise of particular doctor, and doctor should be also honest to his patient if he's not aware about something. And about this, to my mind, comes this term, patient centricity, which we love very much and which is described in value-based care model. What do you think about it?
It again is the same as you just said. One thing is theory and the other one is practice, because somehow I have a feeling that many people are misusing this concept. They just say that the patient is in the center, and then they, like for example in the ministry, they artificially seat you in the middle of the discussion and then don't ask any questions or anything. And so it's like the actions don't match the words. So for the value-based care model which you are mentioning, it is really, so the system is working for the patient, so that all the solutions are like aligned together, so they would eventually have less waste, and they are more efficient and they help the patient. But when you just say like we do this for the patients, especially if you do it on the cameras, it's not always very honest, and I think we as patients feel it very much, because patient centricity means you have to involve us in the decision-making process, and the decision-making process is actually one of the human rights. It's
basic human rights. Our listeners most probably want to know who are those people who are serving for the patients and taking a part of these organizations. Maybe there are some age-specific audience or gender-specific. Can you tell more about this?
My answer will be twofold, because I run two kinds of organizations. One organization is for patients and the other one is for patient organizations. It's like in the network we are different patient organizations together trying to find the common grounds for advocacy to protect the rights of all patients in the country, and we work together with international also other patient organization umbrellas and federations, and that's a little bit different kind of thing, because in a patient organization, which is a real civic society organization, it's usually patients themselves and their relatives. So probably, and these organizations are again different because we have different diseases. For example, in our bleeding disorders community, we only have people who have hemophilia, von Willebrand disease, and ultra-rare factor deficiencies. We are united into one organization, and that's different probably from diabetes or other organizations. And if you want to find out how people find out about us and how they join us, it's usually when, for example, in our case, it's when somebody is diagnosed with this disease, they are trying to get more information. It is very nice when doctors are telling that, oh, you should find the patient organization because they have some already tools and experience, and they can help you find ways how to live with this disease. And it's very often when patients, either patients or moms of patients, newly diagnosed patients, are calling us and asking for advice. And so these two are very different. One is very advocacy oriented, and the other one is more like on for people relationship among the patient organization and the patient and patients themselves.
You handle a lot of emotional load every day. How are you justifying it internally? How you live with those emotions? Are you trying to push them out, or you having specific practices where you're meditating, or I don't know?
I am not good at meditating. The best I can do is put on my favorite music and just walk around the block and try to forget everything. And that helps also with thinking and coming to solutions. Or sometimes I remember I won some project competitions when I was extremely angry that nobody is helping me, and I just sat down and I wrote the proposal and it got accepted, and I was like, okay. But no, I don't have any specific tools. I just know that probably I had all these possibilities in my life to study and travel the world and see different places, meaning how people handle these situations in different countries and different societies. And I am trying to transform it and make the country in which I live a better place. Because, yes, I somehow, this is not, it sounds narcissistic, but deeply in my heart, I believe that I have had all these possibilities with a reason, because I am desperately trying to live. This work is very, first of all, I work for free most of the time. I don't have any salary for doing this, and yes, so it's very difficult on all aspects, but I feel obliged because my dad helped me so much in my life that I have to make this situation and by trying to solve the situation for our disease, which is touching all my family. So I have somehow made many changes for many patients, and yes, it was a very difficult way, and there is almost no way out, and I still have to do it because it runs in my blood. And but I am trying to find the ways how to transform it so it's not that heavy.
Baiba, you mentioned that you were graduating Riga Business School, right? And you wanted to become a marketing superstar, as I understood from you.
No, just a director.
Director, all right. But if you wouldn't be diagnosed with your condition and you still would be at the same place, what would be your choice for the future? You would be at the same place as today, or you would choose something easier, something less stressful, more financial?
First of all, I got the education just because I have this condition. My parents always told me I can't do any physical work because I have to protect myself. I can't do anything dangerous because something always can happen and then I would bleed and it will be very difficult. So they said that we have to study and get good jobs and all these things. And so I am a bit in a way, I'm thankful that I have this disease because it has opened so many opportunities in my life. And on the other side, I always wanted to be a director of a big company. And then in 2020, when I became the board member of World Federation of Hemophilia for 2 years, I suddenly realized that this actually is extremely high-level position in a patient advocacy groups. I am a part of a big, huge community because this organization has member organizations in 152 countries around the world. And in a way, I have achieved my dream of childhood to become a fancy director.
Not only director, fancy, but also a woman with a strong voice. And I want to thank you. This was incredible journey today, and incredible and inspiring still. I knew you, I knew you, but I didn't know so many aspects of your character, of your life journey. Can you please tell to our listeners what is your recipe of being healthy and happy?
I don't know if it's a recipe. I would say that every one of us has a possibility to take what we have and try to make it in a positive way. For example, I have this disease and I try to find a way how to live with it and besides helping other people. So I'm not blaming anyone for my genes or for that I didn't have medical possibilities to get the treatment earlier and make other life choices different than I did. But I still think that if something is bad, it's not over yet, because I really believe in the good end of all the situations. So yeah.
Thank you then. Thanks for being with us today, and see you in the next episode.